Hello and welcome to the Single African Market. In this edition, the Regional Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS, has sanctioned one of its own members, that is Guinea, which is also a party state to the African Continental Free Trade Area, AfCFTA. Guinea is one of the first 10 out of 38 AfCFTA member countries that have deposited their instruments of ratification as at 27th August 2021 after Ghana, Kenya, Rwanda, Niger, Chad and Eswatini.
We are required to take informed decisions on these matters that will have long-term consequences for the stability and the defense of the democratic values of our region. I count on you, Excellencies, to help proffer durable solutions to the crisis. I'm confident that, as in the past, we will rise to the occasion.
On Sunday, 5th September 2021, Special Forces soldiers ousted Guinea's long-serving president and claimed to have dissolved its government and constitution and closed its land and air borders. At an emergency summit of the Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS, the West Africa bloc froze financial assets of Guinea and imposed travel bans on Guinea's school leaders and their relatives. The bloc also piled more pressure on Mali's transitional government, demanding they stick to an agreement to organize elections for February 2022 and present an electoral roadmap by next month, according to the post-summit communique. Meanwhile, Mali's earlier sanctions affected negatively activities of the African Continental Free Trade Area since Mali was a rapporteur. The AfCFTA had to replace Mali's role with another party state. With Guinea being sanctioned, undoubtedly this may fracture progress that have been made by the AfCFTA so far, and hopefully authorities at the affairs of the AfCFTA may be considering all options available. The continent can only pray that this be the last incident that would warrant sanctions to any of the AfCFTA party states in order not to hamper progress made so far in the implementation stages. So last week we did hint that the AfCFTA Secretariat was organizing a forum or a meeting in Lomé, Togo, to discuss trade facilitation on the continent and also at the various corridors, particularly the Abidjan-Lagos corridor. That meeting did indeed happen. There was initially a technical committee meetings and then followed with the ministerial meetings. The AfCFTA Secretariat has organized a high-level forum to examine the challenges of the Abidjan-Lagos corridor and draw a set of recommendations and a roadmap to make it more efficient to use. The two-day workshop, which was hosted by the government of Togo, was in partnership with the United Nations Development Programme, UNDP, and brought together senior government and customs officials from the governments of Benin, Côte d'Ivoire, Ghana, Nigeria, and Togo, in addition to representatives of organized private associations, advocacy groups, shippers' councils, development partners, civil society groups, and international financial institutions. Earlier, technical proceedings had highlighted experiences focused on trade facilitation and customs reforms. Goodwill messages were presented by development partners in solidarity with the vision of the AfCFTA to ensure a facilitated trade on African corridors. A memorandum of understanding was signed between the AfCFTA Secretariat and Trademark East Africa.
We require both government efforts and private sector collaboration in order to realize the benefits that are projected. The success of this region is the success of Africa. The success of East Africa, Southern Africa, North Africa is the success of the entire region. Boosting intra-Africa trade in Africa requires that each region must be competitive and that each region must be integrated into the greater supply chain of the continent.
Prior to this particular meeting organized in Lomé, Togo by the AfCFTA Secretariat, a Single African Market, we were at the Aflao border to assess the situation there, to look at the much talked about unapproved routes that are being accessed by people now because the borders are closed. We also looked at informal trading and how it's being hampered, particularly by the border closures and all of that. So this week, the ECOWAS, as well as NEPAD, as well as SILS, and then TLS, that's the traffic light systems, are putting their heads together here in Accra, trying to think around how they can improve informal trading across borders. A major concern of the government of ECOWAS and the Sahel member countries is how they can increase the volumes and values of trade, particularly in agricultural products, food and livestock, at the regional levels. For these reasons, ECOWAS, in partnership with reputable institutions like AUDA-NEPAD, SILS, Traffic Light Systems, TLS, have joined forces to commence the ECOWAS Informal Cross-Border Trade ECO-ICBT project, which seeks to obtain accurate data on informal cross-border trade between intra-African states. ECOWAS is of the firm belief that intra-African trade far exceeds the official figure that are recorded by customs at the various entry and exit points of West Africa's corridors.
The official intra-regional trade is usually between 12 and 14%, and we have about 60 to 80% unaccounted for. It means that the picture we're giving about our intra-regional trade is inaccurate, because we need to augment whatever we have from the formal sector, which is usually captured through the customs databases, through the national statistics records and all that, with what we can capture from the informal sector.
And the programs that we have, ITRSP, informal trade, is how to get a good figures can relate our real intra-regional trade. We make a study, this ECO-ICBT, who collect this data, put it inside from each country, all the agri-product, for example. We demonstrate that for only 157 products, we discover that the increase of agricultural product is moving from 16% to 20%.
Really?
And for each year, the value is $500 million.
And it's not just because we want to have the figures, because these figures inform policy and decision-making, strategies and all.
Our relationship is stemming from the common position of having informal traders not missing out and informal traders being formalized.
According to ECOWAS, customs officials at the various borders have not been interested in goods that are beneficiaries of the ECOWAS Trade Liberalization Scheme, ETLS, since such goods don't attract duties and thus cross the West African borders without effective records.
Product who is under the ETLS, especially agri-products, we start for that one. We don't pay, they don't pay duty for that one. Customs have no interest to record, they don't want to waste time or to record this agri-product. And the value is going from, big value is going from one point A to another point B, no recorded officially in the formal custom data.
The informal sector, I believe, is around between 60 and 80%. If we should get data flows from the areas and add it to the formal sector, it will give us a more holistic picture of the actual trade flows.
The members on the ECO-ICBT project say such unrecorded data of trading activities which are largely agriculture-based is denying opportunities to the traders and depriving the ECOWAS member states of revenue.
Customs will not record this one.
They don't record?
No, they don't record if it's agree, but they don't pay duty official on this one. The ECOWAS,
customs not recording the products that
they also, you suppose also even to sensitize custom to record that one. No, but their money is not there to record this one. But they not get revenue for that one. I am telling you, all custom have direct a plan to bring money to the budget, national budget. How they don't collect money from the product mango or banana who pass through the border? Why is there too much interesting for this matter?
Custom data is mainly formal, because that's where you pay duties. If it's informal, like you have a lady carrying a basket load of tomatoes, you cannot ask the lady to pay duty. Yet there's value in what they are carrying.
ECOWAS and its partners, including AUDA-NEPAD, AfCFTA, West African Association of Cross-Border Trade in Agroforestry, Pastoral and Fisheries Products, WACTAV, says they are poised to assist the region, mobilize the right data, and also encourage a lot more informal traders to formalize their activities to enjoy accompanying benefits associated with trading officially, contrary to the negative perception that it's less frustrating to trade informally.
There's so many issues that make informal traders not want to be formalized. It could be the tax aspects, which probably because of the small volumes in trade. So if they go through formal routes, there might be that fear to say this will, sip into our profit margin or our entire revenue. We're here to capacitate the ECOWAS in terms of strengthening the ECO-ICBT and linking it to the TLS, because it's also about data flows. Because in data flows, that's one of the things that can aid formalization.
Informal traders were advised to register with business associations in order to be guided to ensure they access all opportunities.
And we are working with, these small traders, most of them, we started to sensitize them. They go to the association, organize one. If you go there, for example, the kind of products you are doing, the agri-product, etc., you do this kind of business, you want to take your product to go this side. And through this big association, first, the formalization is starting from there.
So ECOWAS, NEPAD, SILS, TLS, AfCFTA, almost everybody is talking about trading and how we can formalize informal trading, how we can encourage micro, medium, and small enterprises to all do business in a protected environment to rake in revenue for countries, the regional economic communities in which they belong, and then the continent at large. That is why us on the single African market, we place a lot of attention, focus on some of these MSMEs, particularly innovators, entrepreneurs. And this week, our entrepreneur will thrill you. She's decomposing organic waste into manure, into feed that you can use to feed poultry, feed fish, feed pigs, and even edible products that you and I can even eat. Take a listen.
My name is Serwaa Oduro, and I am the CEO for West African Feeds. We use black soldier fly larvae to decompose organic material into compost, and the larvae is used to feed poultry, fish, and also it can be used as pet food. After SHS, I did aviation courses. When I was lucky to get a job at the aviation sector, I was happy. One of our partners introduced the black soldier fly idea, and then I realized that it's a very good idea. But then again, it has left me with a dilemma whether I should leave my work and come to start this or not. At West African Feeds, we are into protecting the climate. If we use the insect technology to decompose organic waste, it cuts down the emission of greenhouse gases. Looking at the poultry sector, feed is very expensive, so most of the time fish and poultry farmers, they drop out because they can't keep up with high feed prices. We wanted to give them a cheaper way of making feed to feed their poultry. Yes. We decided to enter into producing black soldier fly larvae. So using the larvae to decompose organic material. Then the larvae, we separate it. We sell it to poultry farmers, fish farmers, or even pig farmers. to use it as an alternative to fish meal feed. When we bring in the waste, we keep them in barrels so that over time it doesn't get spoiled. When it's time for us to feed them, we harvest the eggs from the cages. We wait for the eggs to hatch. So when they decompose the waste in the bins we provided, when it's time to harvest it for feed, we separate it from the compost. So the larvae can be used for feed. Then the compost, we further mature it. Because at that stage, too, the yield is very high. Then you can use to nurse seedlings. You can also use it to grow vegetables and other crops. So for Guinea's Ghana, they do more of cereal waste. So maize, sorghum, and other waste, malt waste. So we get those waste from them. And we get waste from other waste suppliers too. And also fruit waste from Blue Sky. So from Vida Cafe and other cafes, we get coffee waste and we use it to mix the other waste that we have. So if it's banku, the banku and the kokonte, whatever it is that you prepare, tiozafi, they can decompose everything. And we will show you the results too. We use manual ways to process them, but UNDP came in to support those aspects, and right now we are able to move faster. When we get, for example, fruit waste from Blue Skies, we have to get a lot of people peel it, then it was somehow tedious. So we need to get that machine. It mills it, and moreover, when we don't mill it, the black soldier fly can't decompose it properly. Yeah, so for the compost, we sell it to horticulture. So those who handle vegetable farms, those who do maize, and even degraded lands. So if there are some lands that they've used artificial fertilizer on it for so long, and the acid aspect is high, it has been degraded, you can't use it for anything. But when you come to take our compost, you can use it to restore those lands. So the poultry market is very huge and we can't even handle it per our production currently. We did an outgrower model that helps other farmers to produce black soldier fly so that we buy back from them. Then we have the market already, so we sell it to our clients. So if we are able to get the funding that we need to expand from this 3.5 tons per month to maybe 10 times of it will be very helpful to us. And since AfCFTA is here, that will help us to trade in other African countries. If we are able to get the right support to scale up, we will supply the Ghanaian markets, then we will move to other African markets such as Cote d'Ivoire, Burkina Faso, Togo, and other countries in Africa too. This will help us to be able to deal with waste problem in Ghana and in Africa, and also cut down the imports of fish meal feed and poultry feed, and also help us collect waste and decompose it properly.
Charlie, people are doing things so. Somebody is using black soldier fly. You know what that is? Once in a pubi. That is what somebody is trapping and using them to decompose the food that you and I have eaten and left them over. She takes them up, she decomposes them, brings food out of it that you and I can even eat. At the same time, create a lot of product out of it, and she wants to go to the African market. We will continue to share stories like this, plus many more, to encourage you to also do something. And if you have any of such stories to share, I would entreat you to share. Get in touch with us on our various social media platforms. We'll be excited to tell your story to the rest of the continent. So the UNDP is already supported our proud entrepreneur for this week, and they have been doing so. They've been supporting quite a number of the entrepreneurs and innovators that we've been bringing you on this platform, and there are many more that we will be bringing to you. That's the essence of this whole program, to support and encourage those who are innovating, creating, and doing business that would help them, help people around them, and help the country as well as the continent at large. Our other partner, the German Development Corporation, the GIZ, is also doing same across the entire country and even on the continent of Africa, supporting here and there to ensure that Africans are able to hold their own, do their own businesses. For some time now, GIZ has been sensitizing entrepreneurs all over the country to understand the African Continental Free Trade Agreement. GIZ has, since the launch of the African Continental Free Trade Area, AfCFTA, been cooperating with a number of institutional partners on processes leading to effective implementation of AfCFTA's vision to create a single market for Africa. In Ghana, GIZ has partnered with a number of organizations including industries, trade, business, and service associations to support stakeholder engagement towards the realization of effective implementation of the AfCFTA. In the past few weeks, GIZ and the Ghana Chamber of Young Entrepreneurs have been sensitizing young entrepreneurs across all regions in Ghana. At the Eastern Regional edition of the sensitization program, young entrepreneurs were taken through the journey and basic contents of the AfCFTA agreement.
We're saying that the 54 countries in Africa have decided to trade amongst each other at a reduced duty rate amongst ourselves. The objective is to create a single market for goods and services facilitated by movement of persons to deepen economic integration of the African continent in accordance with the Pan-African vision of an integrated, prosperous, and peaceful Africa enshrined in Agenda 2063.
They were giving updates on the current status of the AfCFTA.
Is to progressively eliminate tariffs and non-tariff barriers in trading goods. But progressively means that the continent is aiming to achieve zero duties amongst ourselves, but in a progressive way, in a stepwise way. Okay, so progressive liberalization. We don't just, like from tomorrow or from next year, we say that, okay, anybody can bring their goods duty-free. No, we're doing that over a period of time.
The young entrepreneurs were finally advised to explore the AfCFTA agreement further in order to take advantage of the opportunities the agreement can offer them.
Don't sit here and be ignorant. For example, we are negotiating on trading services. The services protocol is saying that when the agreement is finalized, a lawyer, an IT professional, any service provider, once it's, whatever provisions has been agreed, can provide their services in Ghana or from Ghana to other countries. Are you ready? We know that there's a stronger IT hub, let's say, in East Africa and in Nigeria, specifically in Kenya and in Nigeria. Can we compete? Should we partner them? Should we, leave it for them? I'm not asking for an answer, but that's the objective of this work. So that's why I said that in 2 to 3 years' time, if you are here and you are listening, GIZ with the government of Ghana is giving you a head start.
The GIZ has a close cooperation with the regional economic communities of the continent, including East African Economic Community, EAC, Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS, and the Southern African Development Community, SADC, to ensure effective continental and regional levels linkages. GIZ believes that in a rapidly changing Africa, a trade agreement that reflects current socio-economic realities is needed to provide a solid foundation for economic integration across the continent, and every citizen needs to be made aware to participate in its success. So we endeavor to bring you all activities that are happening around the AfCFTA across the entire continent. Listen. President Nana Addo Akufo-Addo on Tuesday, September 14, 2021, opened the first ever Presidential Business Summit in Accra. The president charged the private sector and heads of state agencies to dialogue and find creative ways to grow steadily, even in the midst of the COVID-19 pandemic.
The strong rebound in growth, low inflation rates, the stable currency, the strong reserve position, and FDI flows are clear indications of our collective desire to restore the Ghanaian economy onto a path of sustained stability and growth. We will continue to strengthen and deepen our engagement with the private sector towards realizing this goal.
He also assured the private sector of the enabling environment for its success.
Ladies and gentlemen, the thematic areas and sectors selected for deliberations during this two-day Presidential Business Summit have been carefully chosen to ensure that the outcome would be an actionable business compact with clear commitments from both government and private sector. Government will ensure the fulfillment of its obligations under this compact, and I hope that you, private sector operators, will also do the same.
The Minister of Trade and Industry, Alan Chermanting, said building a resilient and productive private sector to position Ghana as a leading manufacturing hub in Africa is the strategic goal of the government.
The most powerful economies in the world are those that maintain a strong focus on private sector development. It is against this background that government has established an institutionalized process of sustained engagement and consultation with the private sector through a public-private dialogue framework.
Deliberations at the first Presidential Business Summit focused on 5 cross-cutting thematic areas: fiscal and non-fiscal incentives to support production and private sector development, foreign exchange regulation and currency stability, access to finance and cost of capital, energy pricing, availability, access and reliability, and supporting local industries through government procurement and local content regulations. Now, the weather report for all African cities, plus the schedules of flights moving from Kotoka International Airport here in Accra, the commercial capital of Africa, to the rest of the African cities, plus the forex rate for the African market, and the AfCFTA membership status for all AfCFTA party states next. So unfortunately, ECOWAS and AfCFTA has to deal with Guinea. We can only hope and pray that they don't have to deal with any other country going forward, because we can only go forward, we can't come back. Thanks for watching the program. Now, see you same time next week.
In the name of great Africa, it's a fight and